There are 200 billion stars in our galaxy alone. Most of them are older than our sun by billions of years. By every calculation ever run, the sky above you should be screaming with signals, engines, transmissions, the noise of 1,000 civilizations. Instead, when we point our largest ears at the heavens, we hear nothing, just silence. A perfect, unbroken silence that physicist Enrico Fermi noticed in 1950 and turned into a question that has haunted science ever since. Where is everybody? And the 10 answers scientists actually take seriously are far more terrifying than aliens ever could be. Subscribe and let's listen to the quiet. In 1996, economist Robin Hanson proposed something he called the Great Filter. The idea is simple and horrifying. Somewhere between dead chemistry on a warm rock and a civilization that builds starships, there is a step that is nearly impossible to pass. A wall. It could be the jump from non-life to life. It could be the leap from single cells to complex ones, which on Earth took almost 2 billion years. Or it could be surviving your own technology. The terrifying part is not that the filter exists. The terrifying part is that we do not know where it is. If it is behind us, we are the lucky ones, the miracle survivors. But if the filter is ahead of us, then every advanced species meets it, and none walk away. And there is a second theory that says the survivors do exist. They are just holding their breath. Now imagine the galaxy is a dark forest at night. Every civilization is a hunter creeping between the trees. If you hear a twig snap, you do not call out. You do not light a torch, you go silent, because the one who reveals himself is the one who gets shot. This is the dark forest hypothesis, popularized by Chinese author Liu Cixin, but taken seriously by real astrobiologists and game theorists. The logic is cold. You cannot know if another civilization is friendly. You cannot know how fast their technology grows, so the safest move always is to strike first or hide forever. Under this theory, the silence we hear is not empty. It is disciplined. Every mature species has learned to shut up, and Earth, for the last 100 years, has been broadcasting radio in every direction. But maybe the hunters are not the real problem. Maybe they never made it that far. Here is the third answer, and it is the one Carl Sagan feared most. Intelligence may be a suicide gene. Every species smart enough to build radios eventually becomes smart enough to build weapons that end it. On Earth alone, in less than a century, we invented nuclear warheads, engineered pathogens, and now unaligned artificial intelligence, each one capable of erasing us. The Cold War came within minutes of ending civilization in 1962, and again in 1983 when a Soviet officer named Stanislav Petrov chose not to launch. If the average technological species destroys itself within a few centuries of inventing radio, then the galaxy would fill with brief flickers of light, each one dying out before the next one begins. We would never overlap. We would never hear anyone, because everyone is already gone. But even if they survive themselves, they still have to survive the distance. The Milky Way is 100,000 light-years across. Read that number slowly. A signal leaving the far side of the galaxy today would take 1,000 centuries to reach us, and by then, whoever sent it may have been dead for millions of years. Our fastest object ever built, the Parker Solar Probe, hits about 690,000 kilometers per hour. At that speed, it would take over 6,000 years to reach the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, just 4 light-years away. The galaxy is not just big, it is a prison of distance. 2 civilizations could exist at the same time on planets 1,000 light-years apart and never learn the other one was ever there. Their signals would pass through empty space long after both were gone. But maybe someone is talking to us right now. We are just listening the wrong way. We started scanning the sky for radio signals in 1960 when Frank Drake pointed a dish at 2 nearby stars in Project Ozma. Every SETI program since, Breakthrough Listen, the Allen Telescope Array, has been listening for the same thing: radio waves. But think about our own history. We have used radio for barely over a century, and we are already moving to lasers, tight beam optical communication, encrypted signals that look identical to random noise. A civilization 1,000 years ahead of us might not use radio any more than we use smoke signals. They could be talking constantly, right through our solar system, in neutrino pulses, or gravitational whispers, or something we have not invented the physics for. We are a caveman with a seashell held to his ear, wondering why the ocean is quiet. And here's the next twist. Maybe they can hear us just fine. They just do not answer on purpose. In 1973, radio astronomer John Ball proposed the zoo hypothesis. The idea is that they know we are here. They have known for a very long time, and they are deliberately staying hidden. To them, Earth is a nature preserve, a wildlife enclosure. They watch us the way we watch chimpanzees through one-way glass, fascinated, careful, and above all, non-interfering. Under this theory, the silence is a policy. There may be a galactic protocol agreed upon millions of years ago that new species must be left alone until they reach some threshold. Maybe survival past their nuclear age, maybe leaving their home star. Maybe something we cannot yet imagine. Every telescope we build, every probe we launch, they see it. They just do not respond, and that is unsettling enough. But there is a version of this that is worse. What if we are not being observed because we are not worth observing? Consider an anthill on the side of a highway, millions of ants living complex lives, waging wars, raising young, building tunnels, and we drive past at 70 miles an hour without ever noticing they exist. Now imagine a civilization that is not 1,000 years ahead of us, but 1,000,000, 10 million. A civilization that has reshaped stars, that lives in the corona of black holes, that thinks in timescales longer than our species has existed. To them, our loudest radio broadcast is a whisper on a frequency they abandoned before humans walked upright. Our largest cities are pinpricks. Our entire history is a footnote. We keep asking why they have not contacted us, but maybe the honest answer is that we have simply not become interesting yet. And there is a stranger possibility still. Maybe no one has contacted us because we are the ones who arrived first. In 2020, a paper from astrophysicists at Oxford's Future of Humanity Institute laid out something quietly disturbing. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, but the age of stars capable of hosting stable, long-lived habitable planets is really just getting started. Most of the stars that will ever exist have not even been born yet. Red dwarfs, which make up 75% of the galaxy, live for trillions of years. Compared to them, our sun is an early bloomer, which means humanity may not be late to the party. We may be one of the very first guests. If we are early, then the silence makes perfect sense. There is no one out there yet to answer, because the great civilizations of the future are still buried in oceans and volcanic vents on worlds around stars that have not finished cooling. But being first has a dark side, because someone had to build the traps. In 1963, mathematician John von Neumann proved that a self-replicating machine was theoretically possible. Send one out, it finds raw material, an asteroid, a moon, and builds 2 copies of itself. Those 2 build 4. Within a few million years, a single probe can spread through an entire galaxy. Now, flip that idea into a nightmare. Astronomer Fred Saberhagen imagined it in fiction, and physicist Frank Tipler took it seriously in academic papers. What if someone, somewhere long ago, built self-replicating probes not to explore, but to sterilize? Berserkers, silent, drifting hunters, programmed to sit dormant near young solar systems and wake up the instant they detect the signature of technology: radio, nuclear fission, industrial pollution in an atmosphere. Under this theory, the reason the galaxy is quiet is not that no one is home. It is that anyone who ever raised their voice was cut down. And that is where the silence becomes something else entirely. This is the answer that keeps SETI researchers awake at night. It is not any single hypothesis. It is what happens when you stack them. The silence is not empty. It is defensive. Somewhere in the deep past, civilizations learned, the hard way, that revealing yourself is death. They learned about the hunters, about the berserkers, about what waits when a young species starts shouting. And so, one by one, every mature culture in the galaxy chose the same strategy. Go dark, stay dark, never answer. The quiet you hear when you look at the night sky is not the quiet of an empty room. It is the quiet of a room full of people, all holding their breath, all watching the door. And in 1974, we sent the Arecibo message. In the decades since, we have leaked television, radar, and radio into space in every direction. The rule was silence, and we just broke it. That signal is still traveling. It cannot be recalled. 10 answers. 10 reasons the sky is silent. A wall we cannot see. A forest full of hunters, suicides, distance, deafness, a zoo, indifference. Loneliness, killers in the dark, and a rule of silence we may have just broken. The truth is, scientists do not know which of these is right. It may be one. It may be several stacked on top of each other. It may be something no human has thought of yet. But the next time you step outside at night and look up, remember, the sky is not empty. It is quiet. And quiet is not the same thing. Which of these 10 answers scares you the most? And which one do you actually believe? Tell me in the comments.